Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the show. This episode is brought to you by The Wellness Paradigm, a holistic health coaching company shifting the way that women understand and heal their bodies. Through bioenergetic testing, functional lab testing, and functional nutrition, we uncover what traditional approaches often overlook, so you can stop guessing, start healing, and finally feel like yourself again. No more one-size-fits-all protocols, just real answers, deep-rooted healing, and the clarity and confidence you deserve to feel incredible. It's time to shift the paradigm of women's health. Now on to our show. And good morning, Melissa.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm excited she's here and she's going to bring a really nice, fresh viewpoint on something we really haven't talked about on this podcast that I think is really, really needed about decluttering and just how important this is for, your physical health, your mental health. Melissa is a minimalist professional home organizer and decluttering expert, and she helps busy women let go of clutter and really think their relationship with stuff so they can create supportive homes and more intentional lives. And Melissa, I would love to know a little bit more on just who you are, but also like how you weaved into this profession.
So it was kind of a long road. Like I have always been into decluttering and organizing and cleaning. Like I was even like a child who was into things like that, which is strange. But about 10 years ago, I first discovered minimalism, and that really resonated with me. Prior to kind of stumbling upon that and learning a little bit more about it, I basically had one hobby, and that was shopping. That's what I did with my spare time. And then I was spending a lot of time cleaning and reorganizing my house. And I couldn't figure out, like, why is this? And then when I stumbled upon minimalism, kind of everything changed for me. And I started to realize the relationship between our stuff and our time and our money, and just how sometimes stuff can be a distraction to kind of living the life that we really want. And so that led me down the path that I'm on now, which is just sort of examining my life and trying to figure out, what do I really value and what's really important to me, and how do I want to spend my time and my energy and my money on this earth. And so I eventually started my business after I had kids, is really when I started talking to a lot of other parents, especially moms, who were very overwhelmed with their homes and just felt like they had absolutely no time. They had no time before, but now that there's kids in the mix, there's really no time. And it just sort of spawned me to feel like I can help these people. Like it doesn't have to be like that. You can enjoy parenthood more. You can have time to yourself. You can have hobbies. You can take care of your health. All those things. It's just a bit of a trade-off, and sometimes that trade-off is less stuff.
I feel like, especially for moms, it's like, especially first time kids, where it's like you feel like you need all of the things, all of the stuff.
Yeah.
Already overwhelmed, your nervous system's kind of taxed, and then there's all of the stuff. It feels like it can never be clean, and when it is clean, it's dirty 2 seconds later. Um,
Hmm.
so I'd be curious, kind of your approach on one, what really is minimalism in your point of view? Because I feel like that could be interpreted
Yeah.
in different ways. And we'll just kind of take this rabbit hole with mom specifically is like, how do you navigate that with parents who feel like they need more?
Yeah. So minimalism to me is just figuring out what you really value in life and what's really important to you, and then removing stuff that distracts from that, removing anything that gets in the way of using your time and using your money and using your energy in towards the things that really matter to you. So it's not an aesthetic. Like some people are like, oh, well, it has to be white walls and it's like a certain vibe. It's not. You can be a minimalist and love color. You can be a minimalist and still have, more things than people would expect, but it's unique to everyone. And it really is like figuring out, what do you really love and how do we have more of that in your life? So
Yeah.
that's kind of how I think about it. Is just kind of getting very intentional about what you want.
How does that work when you feel like you want all of it and it's all has its own place, right? Where you're like, I'll use this eventually, like, and you haven't touched it in 10
Yeah.
years.
Yeah. So I guess one of the big kind of mindset shifts that I talk a lot of my clients through is kind of coming to the understanding that everything in your house takes some of your time and attention.
Mhm.
So even if you've already bought it, even if it's been sitting in that closet for 10 years, that means for 10 years it's been taking up real estate in your house. You have been needing to move it to clean. You have been needing to reorganize around it. You maybe needed to get a bigger house because there's too much stuff now and it doesn't all fit in the closet because there's still stuff from 10 years ago. So it's kind of understanding that you, everything that you take out that you're not using anymore frees up more of your time and more of your mental resources, right? So like a lot of my clients come to me and they say like, listen, I look around my house and I'm so stressed. Like it makes me anxious. It makes me feel just bad, essentially, nervous, anxious, depressed, and overwhelmed. And there is definitely a mental load. There's peer reviewed research that shows that clutter increases cortisol for women, not for men, for women. And so that's something really important to kind of think about in your head and kind of realize that, like, oh, the stuff actually is physically stressing my body and mentally stressing my mental health. So there is a cost to keeping it. You know what I mean? There's a cost to a mental, physical, and a time cost to keeping it. So when you have less stuff at home, it's a lot easier and faster to tidy up at the end of the night or like quickly clean on the weekend. So then you can go and do the fun things that you really want to do. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, I really do not think people understand the impact it actually has. And obviously, I work with women and women's health all day long. And I
Yeah.
remember having a conversation on a group call about this. And she was talking about all these other things and the things she has to do, like on her to-do list for her health. And I was like, what's holding you back? She's like, oh, I have this laundry. I have this. I was like, sometimes the best thing you can do is do the laundry first or get rid of some of the things that you need to do,
Mm-hmm.
in your house or clear some of that because that's creating mental clutter where you can't even focus on the meal prep you need to do or the workout you need to do because it's always hanging over your head. Um,
Exactly.
and it was like such a,
Yeah. And you just mentioned that it's hard sometimes for your clients to do the meal prep and do the working out that they really want to do to take care of themselves. And part of that could be that the clutter, like if there's a lot of clutter and it's stuck and you're seeing it every day, it's kind of stagnant energy, in my opinion. It's heavy, stagnant energy that kind of weighs you down. It makes it really hard to get forward motion on the positive things that you want to increase in your life. So like these women, they know I want to start meal prepping. I want to feel better in my body. I want to exercise and do this all from a place of love. But sometimes it can be really hard to do that when there's physically clutter all around their home and it energetically makes them feel kind of stuck and makes it hard to kind of do anything because it's always weighing them down just a little bit. Yeah.
absolutely. Now, I feel as if one of the hardest things, particularly for women, when decluttering is emotional attachment to things. Um,
Yeah.
especially if people have some maybe unresolved emotions or past versions of themselves that they're kind of still aspiring to be or embody. I feel like that's a big component where it's like, I can't get rid of stuff. How do
Mhm.
you help people move through that?
So the best way to move through it is to feel it and to move through it as it happens and allow yourself to feel the emotions that come up. Probably 90% of my clients cry when we're working together. Like it is a very emotional thing, but I always encourage people to approach it and allow yourself to feel it, but don't beat yourself up about it. I don't think there's any positive, like there's no room for shame or embarrassment or self-flagellation in decluttering and or making really any positive changes in your life. Like you don't have to beat yourself up. I think women especially, we're always harder on ourselves than we would be to a friend, right? Or even a stranger. Like we are our own worst critics. And I think it's really important to get to a place where you say like, okay, yes, this is a past version of myself, or this is something that holds a lot of negative memories. You can allow yourself to feel those memories and then say, but I'm not there anymore. I'm moving on. I am making positive changes in my life. And you get rid of the item, you allow yourself to feel whatever emotions come up. Sometimes you need to journal through it. Sometimes it helps to just physically get it out of your house, get it in the trash can or to the donation center, and remove it from your energy field so that you're not seeing it every day and are reminded of it. Because that's another thing that, like, sometimes we hold on to stuff out of guilt, like, oh, somebody gave me this, I never really liked it, but I feel bad, or this was expensive, I never really used it, but I can't get rid of it because it was so expensive. But seeing those things kind of brings our energy down just a little bit every time we see them. We feel a little bad, we feel a little guilty, and all of those like micro levels of negative energy, they do add up, and they make it harder to move through the world. So I just I have total empathy for people who say, like, it is hard, it is emotional, and that's totally understandable, but give yourself grace and allow yourself to feel what you feel.
Yeah, that's so true, especially for women. I feel like so many people just we talk about this a lot on the podcast, like, suppress it all. And it could be something
Mm-hmm.
simple as, for women that I work with a lot, it's usually clothes or something like that. That's can be triggering, but it doesn't have to be like that. It
Yeah.
a toy, a kid's toy that you don't want to get rid of that they haven't played with in 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
But there's an emotional
Mm-hmm.
to it. And it's like for you also to hold that space is really important because when people feel emotions out, they almost feel out of control. And it's like, oh my God, like I shouldn't be feeling this way. I shouldn't be
Mm-hmm.
crying. And they like dismiss.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah,
and I'm sure people feel like lighter after they finish
they
working.
do.
Like,
That is what everybody says. I
yeah,
feel so much lighter. And I wish I would have done this years ago. I also say that. But yeah, and I'm glad you brought up clothes because that is such an emotional place for women. And I think our closets can really hold us back if we let them. Like, it can be really hard. We're in there every day. We have to get dressed, at least if you live in most of the world, you have to get dressed at least once a day. And so you're in there. And if you're in there and you're confronted by clothes that make you feel bad about yourself or remind you of a past version of yourself or just bring you down really in any way like that, that is again taking a toll on your energy. You're not going to be as confident as you would be if you hadn't had to see those every day before you get dressed. You don't, I think it's really important for women, even if you're going through size fluctuations, if you're in the middle of changing weights, I think it's important to have only clothes that fit you right now in your closet. And if that means you need to store some away, potentially for later, like put it in the highest shelf in the closet, or put it in the attic, or put it in the basement, so that you don't have to sift through what fits me, what doesn't fit me every morning when you're getting dressed. And you can go in and confidently see, okay, these are the clothes that fit me right now. These are the clothes I feel good in. These clothes make me smile. These clothes, bring me joy, or whatever it is. That is so impactful for women.
oh yeah, that's huge, especially first thing in the morning. Like that sets your tone for the day, you know.
Exactly. Exactly. People are always amazed after they do a closet workshop or a closet clean out with me that, oh, I did not expect my confidence to grow this much, and like just feel so much more positive when I'm getting ready for work, getting ready for the day. So
Yeah,
it's really impactful. I love it.
100%, 100%. That's a biggie, a really big one for women.
Hmm.
I'm curious,
Hmm.
do you usually start with a client like in a closet, like, or more like just kind of on the, I'm sure like an intake of some sort, maybe the emotional side, but like where do you typically start? I'm sure it
Yeah,
differs.
so yeah, it definitely differs. It depends on the person. But if someone is feeling like they want to do their whole house and all of it stresses them out pretty well equally, then I would say you don't want to start with the closet, because like we just talked about, the closet is going to be an emotional place. So one of the easier places to start is somewhere like the kitchen or the laundry room or the mudroom or the garage, or somewhere where there's maybe less emotional. Like in the kitchen, you're not that, most of the time, not that attached to like, oh, 12 kitchen spoons or whatever, like the utensil drawer is not as emotional for people as a closet. So I start with things that are less sentimental, less emotional, and then build your decluttering muscle, so to speak. Get the practice in, feel how good it feels to have a done space, and then you move on to some of the more emotional or sentimental areas.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. It's
Yeah.
like easing them in a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think you had mentioned that like you start every session by asking people like what do they want to make like space for?
hmm
And I am just curious, like, have you had any interesting answers to that question?
Honestly, everybody's is a little bit different, but it's all kind of along the lines of like something that they're really interested in or relationships that they just love and want to keep nurturing. So like a lot of times I hear like I want to spend more time with my kids, like quality time with my kids, or I want to spend more time with my husband or go on date nights with him, or sometimes it's health related. Sometimes like I want to be able to start walking or going to the gym. Yeah, it's usually things along those lines of just something positive. Or some people say they want to start reading more. They used to love reading and they don't do it now, whether it's for whatever reason. Some people say they don't do it now because it's so relaxing to them and they don't feel that they deserve to relax when their house is cluttered. And like that just breaks my heart because everybody deserves to relax and everybody deserves a home that feels good to them. So, yeah, just across the board, lots of different answers, but they're good. They're all good.
What's your favorite part about just working in the space?
Oh, it's seeing the transformations. It's seeing people say, wow, I feel so much lighter. This feels so much better. And also hearing, like, I had a client who said their intention was to be able to host more people impromptu, just like, I want to be the house that everybody comes to. And it's 6 p.m. on a Wednesday, and yet everybody stopped by, and I didn't even know it was going to happen. And then a week later, she texts me the Thursday morning and says, hey, everybody on my block came over to my house last night. Like, I was in my pajamas on my couch, and everybody was like, hey, are you busy? Like, the kids are playing, and all the adults started hanging out. I'm like, that's amazing. And it's so cool to see how quickly the stuff that you want comes into your life when you get specific and then you make space for it.
Oh gosh, I could say that for so many things. Yeah. Um,
Yeah.
it's yes, just when we create mental bandwidth that we don't realize, like,
hmm
it could be again, things, stuff, people, emotions.
hmm
Um,
hmm
I know we talked a little bit about kind of like how this can also bleed into a wellness routine, but I am curious, like, have you seen either in your personal life, your client's life, like simplifying their space led to like to have stories about better self-care, overall health, or anything like that?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I have a lot of them actually. Quite a few of my clients say, like, I really want to get healthier. I really want to prioritize myself, but it's just so hard. I don't know why. I used to work out every day before I had kids, and now I can't go even every 6 months. And then just weeks after, like we work together and we clear the space, I start getting texts of like, hey, I've been walking on my treadmill every day, like because physically we've moved the stuff off the treadmill
Yeah.
and they can get to it, but also because like we talked about, like that negative and stuck energy is gone and they can do what they want to do. So yeah, lots of my clients have started moving again, started joining the gym, have made it a priority to get back to doing things like that feels good to their body and that they enjoy.
Mm, that's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it.
It's wonderful. It's always cool when you like when things have a ripple effect, right?
hmm
Um,
hmm
Now, if somebody wanted to, say they were a little overwhelmed with their house, kind of wanting to slowly declutter, just get stuff out of the house, like where would you tell them to start?
So there's a couple different ways. And if they're kind of just doing this on their own and they're like, listen, I just want to start. I would say grab a trash bag and do the easiest thing, like try to find the easiest, lowest hanging fruit. So go through room by room and just look for things that you don't need anymore. Like this doesn't add value to my life. This doesn't add value to my life. Put it in the trash bag and then actually take the bag to the donation center um, in the same day. And just like feel, okay, that felt good. Like, how do I feel today? Like, it's a little bit lighter in here. There's a little bit less. And then if they want, they can continue doing it like that, or they can start being a little bit more methodical and kind of choosing a space and saying, okay, I'm going to do these two cabinets today and pull everything out of the cabinets, go through each item one by one and kind of ask yourself, like, do I really love this? When was the last time I used it? Is it really adding value to my life? Does it improve my life in ways I want my life improved, you know? Um, and then put the things that you're keeping back and donate the rest. And just kind of doing that, moving things out of their original home. Like I always tell people when they're doing closets, when they're ready to get to that step, it's really important not to just look at it in the closet, but instead to pull it out and like put it on your bed and then hold it up and go through each piece. Because there's something about seeing it in a different environment than the usual space it's housed in really helps your brain to sort of make those decisions. And I have lots of clients who like we'll go in a space and they'll say, oh, pretty much all this is staying. And then I say, okay, great, but I'm just going to pull it out anyway. And as soon as I pull it out, we're decluttering 50% of that stuff. So doing that also helps.
I feel like it could probably get a little addicting too, where it's like you start like tentatively, like, ooh, I don't know. And then
Mm-hmm.
eventually you're just like, I want to get more and more
Yeah.
stuff out, right?
Yep. And I always tell my clients it's kind of a snowball effect. Like it starts pretty hard, pretty slowly, feels like it takes a lot of your energy. But then by the end, your snowball is sort of rolling and you feel all the positive effects. You feel how much lighter it just feels around your house and you're way better able to do it. And you feel like, oh, I could do this forever. And you're much faster. And it gets easier. And it does start tricky. It starts harder than it finishes. But you can say that with a lot of things, I think.
Life. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if people were interested in getting to know a little bit more of the work you do, or maybe they want to take it a step further, how can they find you, find out what you do, or connect with you?
Yeah, so they can connect with me on Instagram or through my website, happyhomedecluttering.com. I work virtually with clients all over the world, and I also run virtual closet workshops every month where we take 3 hours and we kind of go through together. I'll teach everybody sort of the questions to ask and the process of how to clean out your closet. And then we do it virtually together over Zoom so that after 3 hours, they have a refreshed, feeling good, high vibe closet.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I know many people that could utilize that, including probably myself. All right. So,
Would love to have you anytime.
well, thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate it. I will definitely put all of
Yeah.
her information down in the show notes if you guys want to go follow her. Reach out to her if you thought that this was helpful or share it with somebody that might need some of these tips as well. And thank you so much for being here, Melissa. Thank you, listeners, for being here, and we'll catch you guys on the next show.
Thank you so much for having me.